there, everyone. Welcome back to Turnaround Coach. This week, I am in a little bit of a different location, just on the other side of my office, because we are having a little debacle here. I don't know if I've mentioned ever before, but I live in new construction area, and periodically we have issues with the construction going on, and today is one of those days. We don't have internet, and it was supposed to be fixed by 7, and now they're saying 2, and I'm just starting to get a little bit worried that we might not have internet until later today. So here's the deal. I can't control that, right? We talked last week about controllable and uncontrollable factors. Can't control the internet at all. Luckily, have a phone. I can do this recording and get this uploaded for you so you can still check out this week's episode. And then I'm going to head to Starbucks. I think I'm going to go there, work for a little bit, and then I have a meeting this afternoon. And hopefully by the time we get done, we'll have everything restored and we'll be back to normal. Having said that, this week on Turnaround Coach, I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about something that was said to me yesterday. So last week was a very interesting week for me. I got a new client in my teacher life coaching program, and so that was real fun to get started on that, and we're going to be doing some really great things for her. And in addition, I was able to go into my second week in a new mastermind that I'm participating in. If you've never done a mastermind, it's something completely amazing, really. It's a smaller group that I'm in, and we meet online, and we get to really talk and bounce ideas off of each other and ask questions and learn from each other. And during the conversation, the person who kind of organizes it and puts it on, he made the comment that I need to consider myself a turnaround expert. And at first I thought, oh, I don't know, am I an expert? And then I had to really sit with that for a minute, because I started to get those feels that maybe I'm not good enough to be an expert. Expert is pretty big, right? But then I started to think, well, I've done this 3 different times in 3 different settings with 3 different successes. And not just that, but utilizing these strategies, even when I'm not doing a turnaround throughout the years that I was there, really helped me to keep my school moving along the right path. For example, after the pandemic, I had to really dig down deep and figure out what was going on, because clearly we had a climate culture problem going on, right? It was very devastating to people having to be in schools and working. And then we were definitely having some systems issues, because our systems were broken in the fact that they weren't meeting the needs of where we were during the pandemic time, and then even after. And then leadership, I had to even think about my own leadership skills, because typically I might be like, okay, girl, you got this, teacher, go do it. But I had to really think about my people skills, my empathy skills, and still hold people accountable. And we've talked about that before here on Turnaround Coach as well. So sometimes we might not necessarily be turning around something, taking something from failure to success, but maybe we're scaling. That was said to me yesterday. So I met with another colleague, and we were planning a workshop that we're getting ready to do here in the Houston area. And as we were talking and thinking about marketing and advertising, and I just mentioned that sometimes I feel like maybe I'm a little bit too real with my message. Maybe it's just too blunt. And not every business has to be failing to be able to work with me. I can work with you if you're failing, and of course I'm going to help you make change that's going to get you back on track. But what if you want to work with me because you want to go to the next level? And she mentioned that. She said, what about scaling businesses as well? And so that's what I want to talk to you about today. When do we know it's time to scale to the next level, to elevate to the next level? I like that word, elevate. And I'm going to be honest with you, that actually was my word for the year of 2023, because I felt like I had been doing so many things in the area of leadership, so many things in my career, but I knew I was making pivots, and I knew I was going to need to take those skills and then take those to the next level, to scale them, to elevate them. I also knew that in my own personal life, I knew that I was living fine, but I was going to elevate what my personal world looked like, giving myself more freedom in my schedule, giving myself location freedom, giving myself opportunities to enjoy life and not just work all the time. So knowing that that's what I did personally, we know that we need to do it in our businesses professionally. When do we know that it's time to scale? And how do we do it? So here's my thinking. In my own experience, both personally and professionally, I knew it was time to go to the next level when I felt like things were getting to be too comfortable. When I felt like we were stuck in that comfort zone. For example, when teachers started to say, well, I'll just use my lesson plans from last year because I already taught this lesson before. That in my mind makes me go, okay, well, maybe as a guide, but you have different students this year. But because it was more comfortable to just use those repeat plans, not thinking about the changes, the difference in the students, does that or does that not work? I was thinking about when I would write the campus improvement plan. So as a principal, just as a business owner, you have to write your business plan, right? Well, every year we were challenged with writing a campus improvement plan, not to necessarily say it was just about improvement, but it was to say what were our plans for that school year so that it would align with our budgets so that we would receive our funding. And in doing so, I knew it was time to elevate, to scale, to make some changes when I felt like I was just copying and pasting last year's plan into the current year's plan. And that's a leadership thing. And I had to accept that I was getting too comfortable and that because of the leader, it was time to make some kind of change or some kind of pivot and maybe a new challenge. In my personal life, as I mentioned, I knew that I was feeling stuck, that I was feeling like what I was doing was fine in the fact that it paid the bills. It was consistent money. It was a good career. People knew me. People valued me. People trusted me, but it wasn't making me happy any longer. And so I had to scale, pivot, and move into a different direction. So now that we know when we need to do it, because you can ask yourself those same questions to see if this is a time where you're thinking, wow, I have been just kind of coasting along in my business, and although we're doing okay, we're not great. And maybe we want to be great. Maybe we want to strive for excellence. So how do we do it? Well, to be very, very honest, I can tell you that the same turnaround strategies that I have, that's what I used when I was making changes and pivots and moving to the next level. It's a simple process. We look at what's happening in your business, your organization. What are all of the things that are causing you to be exactly where you are? Good and not good. Because even if you're doing okay, even if you're meeting the mark, there are still going to be some things that you can change because you're not yet at the level of level of excellence that you want to be. We look at your systems, your processes, your procedures. Are they as efficient as you want them to be? Are they up to date? Are they meeting the needs of your current people? Unless you're at 100%, y'all, there's room for change. And that's what I would always tell my staff. Until we are at 100%, there's always room for improvement. And then, of course, the big one, climate and culture. And that's your staff, that's your clients, those are your customers, your community, your stakeholders, everybody that's involved with your business. If they're not all moving in the right direction with you, 100%, then we've got some work to do. And it can be a combo of those three things. It can be just one. It could be all three. But those are the things that you need to focus on when you're thinking, I want to elevate. I want to go to the next level. And it's being honest with yourself, honest with your team, and honest with the work that you do. Because again, if you're not yet at 100%, then there's room for improvement. All right, so this week, I just wanted to take that time to talk about that because it's on my mind. And not only did I have to do that in my public education world, but I'm doing it in my own business world as well. Every strategy that I use with y'all, I've used at the school, and I'm using currently with my own self. I can promise you that. And even some processes that I've added to the whole package that I do with a client, I'm implementing those as well because I want to see if they work before I can go out there and say that they're going to work for somebody else, if that makes sense. So reach out to me if you need me because I am here to help. And this weekly little show on YouTube, this is a great way for you to get some free information. I also have a free workbook available. I'd love to say I'm going to link it in today's notes, but I might not get to. It depends on how the internet works when I get to Starbucks. However, I will do my best to get those to you, that link to you, because that workbook can help guide you through that process, and you can do that with your team for free. But if you do need my support, August is almost done. Thursday is the last day of August, and right now I've got some great deals going on. So you want to get in now, and it's only because it's crazy hot. My mind was crazy. I was hot, and I decided let's offer some competitive pricing for our people because we're all dealing with hot. Anyway, I'm not going to get off on that tangent, but I hope you have a great week. I hope this is something that you can utilize in your own organization, whatever it is, a school, a business, whatever, your home, however you utilize this information. All right, have a great rest of the day. See you next week right here with Turnaround Coach.